most authors, when you've worked on a project for a long time, you get close to it. Like you get too close, you lose all sense of objectivity, you lose perspective. I think every author has those moments. You're like, is this any good? Like, have I written anything fresh and unique and interesting here? And the beauty of what Deborah does, she's that set of eyes that is removed but interested, like removed enough from the process, has an objective standpoint, but has a vested interest in making sure you find the gold in your work. I mean, you can send it to family and friends, and sometimes they're too nice. They're too encouraging. Not that you don't want to be encouraged, but I think just having that really objective perspective that has your best interests at heart, but also can just see things that you might have just missed because you are too close to the project is incredibly valuable. I had a look around to see, who was in the space. There are a lot of editors out there who do some really great work, but I really like the fact that Deborah's whole approach and the whole tone of her website from the get-go is she's someone who'll work with you. It's not just a set and forget thing where you send the document and then it comes back a few weeks or a few months later. There was that sense of working side by side. And I thought that was really valuable because that having a sounding board is the part of the value is to have a conversation and to tease out ideas and be able to think out loud, and not just about the content, but about the positioning of the book, about the tone or the voice that you want to adopt. And I think some of that stuff, even the title input has been so valuable. And what should I call this thing? Titles are so important, and just having that perspective is really valuable. That only sort of comes through that, I guess, that more discussion mode rather than just sending it off and outsourcing editing to someone and having that set and forget model. For me, the process of writing the book that I've been working with Deborah on, the way I looked at it when I first did the research was like having a whole lot of knotted ropes in a pile and trying to sort that out and sift it through. And what I managed to do was get the manuscript in the book to a point where all those knots and kinks were smoothed out, but the rope was still too long. I wanted to get something that was really tight, that it was almost like the string of a stringed instrument, that when you pluck that thing, there was a resonance to it. It sang, it had a life of its own. And so the beauty was getting the document to Deborah at the point where it was relatively cohesive, but still far too verbose, and getting that really concise, helping the book find its own voice and get really clear on what the messaging was. That's probably what I found most valuable. And I'm mindful too, for a lot of people, they've not written a book before. Like if it's your first rodeo, obviously, I think the most important thing to realize is an editor isn't going to write the book for you. Like they're going to essentially be that guide or that coach that takes you through the process. And it can be confronting. Like you have these moments where you've got an idea that you really like, but Deborah or an editor broadly can say, I think that's a great idea, but it's not for now, not in this book or this part of the book. And I think being open or willing to take that feedback on board is difficult, but it's so valuable. I mean, you look back at the end, you realize it's often what you've cut out of the book that makes the book a special thing as opposed to what you put in. And I think having the humility to realize that you need that extra set of eyes, and then the trust, like it takes deep trust to really trust that someone's going to guide you through that process, is essential. And that was certainly what I found worked really beautifully with Deborah, having that deep sense of trust. I think when I first engaged with Deborah on the project for my book, I was, I don't know what the word would be, hesitant, tentative, this idea of, have I got something here? Is this a thing? Like, is this a book that is going to be worth reading? I think it is, but again, I'm too close to it. So I think when I'm at the point now where, having gone through this process and we've really condensed the word count and refined the book and refined the messaging, there's that sense of, I think, quiet confidence that there's something here, like there's something really valuable. And I think that's the confidence you need to go to the next stage, whether it's to print yourself as a self-published author or to go to a publishing house, but to know you've got something solid to be able to share with the world. And I think that's what I'm really excited about at the end of the process.